Hey everyone, guess what? Oh my God. We're here with Mark. Mark is in a band, Massa Nera, out of Boston. Is that right?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay, Jersey. Sorry. Man, I'm really sorry about that. Uh, they're out of Jersey. I should have known. Email. Jersey. Um, I'm t God, I'm so fucking out of it right now. They have a new album coming out, The Emptiness of All Things. Or is it out already?
It's out now. Yeah, but
Okay.
it came out on Halloween.
Oh, rock and roll. Okay, so like 2-ish weeks ago. Um, how's the response been for it?
It seems like the response has been really good. Um, um, I feel like, I mean, I guess it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
Um, the most of the reviews that I've seen, there haven't been, that many because obviously we're
There have been a
like
lot of reviews. Don't let them lie to you. They're awesome.
but the reviews that I've read have been really, really positive for the most part, and the ones that have been more positive have for me to me at least they've read less like reviews and more like philosophical essays, which I really enjoy.
Okay.
You know, I'm happy that for the people for whom the record is resonating, right? It feels like it's inspiring or provoking a deeper reflection or response, which is what we wanted. Um, the
I
reviews
think
that were just
that's what all the musicians want. They want people to, well, not all, I guess, because some just, hey, let's fucking do a bunch of drugs and party. But I think the majority, like people get into music for the reason because they want to connect with people. They want something that is much deeper than, a surface connection. You know what I mean?
yep, yep. I agree. I agree. And so to see some of the responses to the record be along those lines has been very gratifying. There have been a couple of reviews that have been good but not great. And maybe this is just my own bias. I do feel like those reviews were a little more superficial. But of course, the record uh it's definitely not going to be for everyone. Obviously, no extreme record is. And
Right.
also, um, any group that's lumped in to a genre or a subgenre that then kind of tries to break away from it, that's also going to be met with some resistance. And also, sometimes stuff just doesn't resonate for whatever inexplicable reason.
Well,
And
realistically though, like I think most bands, um, when they stick to the same like formula, they piss people off, and when they veer from that formula, they piss people off.
yeah,
So you know what I mean? So
yeah,
who gives
you're
a
you're
fuck? Like
you're kind of damned if
it's
you do, damned if you
yeah,
don't. Um, but for us, I mean, the good thing is, like I said, the majority of the response I've seen has been really positive and really touching. We sent the record to a bunch of our friends and to different podcasts, like you, for example, anywhere we could. And most of the people who we heard back from, our peers, really seemed to love the record and understand what we were going for. And so that, you can't really put a price on that. People
right.
that we respect and admire, and in some instances, like people that I grew up listening to, seem to really love it. And so, I mean, that's all I could hope for. Um, yeah, yeah. So no real complaints, or if there are complaints, they're super pity, and even a moment of self-reflection would allow me to step back and realize how, how
Yeah.
petty they are.
Well, and I think it's really hard when you're looking at reviews and like, especially these people who do so many reviews. It gets to a point where I feel like it gets to a point where they're just like, all right, it's the same cut and paste, copy paste, verse, chorus, verse like thing. And when they get something new, they try to listen to it, but then it's a little bit like, oh, I kind of like the verse, chorus, verse, like,
Yeah,
method. Like, fuck, I don't want to break out from that. But, it's cool to, on a musical level, like to find bands that are willing to challenge like what a traditional song form is.
Yeah.
you know. And I think my little shit review is I think it's a great album. I love the way that it flows, and like there are some standout tracks to me, like The Best Is Over, um, Death Shall Flee from Them. Yeah, I
Yep.
almost said the. And I love how it ends with New Animism. Like
Yeah.
I think for the amount of like contrast and chaos through the fucking album to end with that is like okay, let me like I fucked with you for a long time. Let me set you down so you can
Yep.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a moment for a long moment for yeah, reflection
Yeah.
and tranquility or relative tranquility after, as you said, all of 30 something minutes of just pummeling chaos and weirdness and oh man, no, that's really cool. Especially like Best Is Over is a little bit more akin to our previous records,
Hmm.
um but it's still different, like we still even with that song tried to do different things and tease out different things. But Death Shall Flee from Them and New Animism were really big swings for us. And I'm really happy that you dug those songs. They're two of my favorites as well. So that's really cool.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like I get into it because there are times where it just gets really fucking crazy, and there are moments in like everywhere that kind of bring you back that I really really fucking enjoy. But it's the album overall like challenges I think what the traditional song structure, right? Like it's not the fucking boom boom boom, two singles, blah blah blah, which is super cool. And I think people who are just really into music look for things that are going to challenge them,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I went to a festival over the summer, Post Fest in Indianapolis,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
so it was my first time going, and they did such like a great job at curating the fucking musical lineup. It was literally everything from like singer songwriter, of course you had your post rock and post metal, and then you had like Converge and Bong Ripper. I'm like, this is so fucking great. Like
Oh man. No, that's fucking, we were actually supposed to play the post the pre-fest
the
for that.
pre-fest.
Yeah, but we had to cancel a couple tours because life things. Uh
Yeah.
you know, finances and all this stuff that unfortunately, especially for a band at our level, like ultra
Yeah.
DIY, real life can get in the way sometimes. But man, the lineup looked fucking sick. Actually, really good friends of ours, this band Respire, they played
Oh
the
dude, they
fest.
were great.
Yep,
Yeah. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Are they Canadian?
from Toronto.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay, there you are.
Oh, yep,
I
yep,
was
I'm
like,
here.
oh shit.
Yeah, Respire, they're Canadian. They're from Toronto. They're really just incredible people, an incredible band. Also a band that does things differently, you
Yeah.
know. Um, I don't know. Um,
But that
yeah.
was, I think that was one of the really cool things about like Post Fest. And it was, the pre-show also, um, it wasn't like one style of music. It obviously, right? Pretty wide array of bands. And the fucking crowd loved every single one of them. It wasn't like, ah, fuck that. Like, I don't like them. I'm going to go do this. Like,
Yep.
no, dude, the crowd moved from stage to stage with the bands. Super, super cool.
That's fucking cool. That's fucking cool. Well, you know what, too? I've got to say, and this is obviously totally anecdotal, right? I haven't done some sort of study or analyzed any of this at all. But so before I ever was into punk, I mean, I got into all of these genres at such a young age, right? That it was all more or less simultaneous. But metal was my first love, you know what I mean? Like the classic thrash bands, the big four, shit
Yeah.
like Atheist and Death and Cynic and all of those Floridian bands, the early grindcore groups. I know grindcore, it kind of straddles the line of punk and metal. But bands like Terrorizer, Carcass, they're firmly metal. They're not
Oh
really
yeah.
that punk at all. The
Right.
first couple Napalm Death records, they've got a punk energy. They have punk politics. But
Yeah, but they still have a very punk-like ethos though, which is fucking cool.
exactly. But like Terrorizer, Carcass, those are metal bands, Morbid
Yeah.
Angel, Meshuggah. And then, even though again, a lot of them were coming from punk, for me, musically, groups like Dillinger, Botch, Converge, they always felt more like metal bands with a punk ethos than,
Yeah.
punk bands.
Well,
Um,
it's you have a really good point there, right? Like, so it makes me think like crossover. You know, the original like crossover band, fucking Motorhead. You
yep,
know, like they were so great, and then you get into Botch and Converge, and they are that crossover.
yep,
Like that's crossover now. It's not just like a little thrash, a little punk, or thrash and hardcore. Like
yep.
no, it fucking it challenges you in the audience to
Mhm.
fucking actually think.
Yep. And one of the things I always loved about metal, like for me, I was someone who obviously, and I'm sure this is evident in, like the way that the band that I'm in sounds, right? Like from an early age, I was looking for stuff that was different, stuff that was challenging, stuff that was new, like stuff that I'd never heard, that
Yeah.
totally changed what I thought music could be. And I always felt like comparatively, compared to punk, metal, even though metal can be just as puritanical and just as rigid and just as rule obsessed, there's such a healthy, diverse assortment of boundary pushing metal bands across subgenres. Like look at something like black metal, for example. Obviously, black metal in many ways is like a cesspool, but just
Yeah.
just speaking solely about the style, you've got folk influenced black metal bands. You've got ambient influenced black metal bands. You've got blackened death metal, blackened thrash. You've got weirdo,
Bluegrass fucking black metal, like yes.
yeah, yeah, something like Panopticon, exactly, who are
Yep.
combining like that shit is there, and so many more. And this is just within black metal, let
Right.
alone death metal, let alone sludge, let alone stuff that's just openly considered experimental metal. Like there's such a wide array of styles that I bring this up because I feel like the reviews that we've actually gotten from some of the more metal leaning publications, they've been really open minded about what we're doing, and they maybe they aren't as familiar with our back catalog. Maybe they know of Screamo, but they don't really know much Screamo or
Haven't
whatever.
really dug into it. Yeah.
And so they're not coming at it from that lens of, oh, this is a Screamo band. I think there was one review that even said, from what I understand, this band was considered Screamo in the past or whatever. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want because we were not writing this record with genre in mind.
Right.
Um, the only genre we had in mind is Screamo, and the only thing we were saying was we are not going to do that. And even our older stuff, when it was a little more explicitly indebted to quote unquote Screamo, like we had a whole host of rules that would govern our writing sessions, like from Dead Immaculate Badar, our previous full length, our split with Quiet Fear. And the rules always were rules about things we couldn't do. Like, oh, we can't do this rhythm because it's too much like these other bands. We can't use these chords because they're too emblematic of the style. We can't do this because we did it in the past. So this record, though, we pushed that mindset a lot further. And, the idea was we're not even going to try to be this. And at the same time, like if it comes out in a song, if it comes out in a couple of songs, we're not going to fight it because that's what we're naturally doing. that's what feels right. But the goal wasn't to make a Screamo record. The goal was to make this album. And whatever it was, it was. And I feel like, yeah, because of how diverse experimental metal is, how wide ranging metal is, some of the publications that are more metal leaning, it feels like they've been particularly receptive, particularly open minded. And I don't know, as a lifelong metalhead, that makes me really happy.
Yeah. Well, I think like metalheads, I don't know what it was like for you, but for me, I got into metal, um, I guess partially because the mystique, like my introduction, I was like 5 or 6, dude, being introduced to fucking, you know, probably not Metallica yet, but like Slayer, Iron Maiden, like these
Okay.
things were the fucking dude in the neighborhood was like, check this out. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You got long hair, you got the leather jacket. Like, yeah. And the more I listened to it, the more I wanted to like, and maybe this is kind of across people that get into metal, is you get into it and you're like, oh, I like this, but can it be a little heavier, or can it be a little faster, or
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? And you're
Oh yeah.
looking for that thing that's just going to be a little more than what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, dude, I've been listening to it for damn near 50 years, and I haven't found that boundary yet. Like, oh, that's too far. Like, no, I
Yep.
fucking like it all.
Dude, that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, I got into music through classic rock, because that's what my parents were into. And I was probably about 10. Like I don't have older siblings really. I have older cousins, but they lived in New York, so I didn't see them all the time. Um, so I'd listen to all these classic rock bands, and you know, they were great. I still like a lot of them, but even as a 10-year-old, I'd have that thought like, man, this is great. I love when this band does this, but can they push it a little further? And then I heard Black Sabbath and I thought, okay, this pushes it further. And then on Q1043, I don't know what part of the country you're from or if you're even based in the
So
US.
I am. I grew up in Detroit, but I live in Kentucky now.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, in the New York metro region, we have a radio station called Q1043. It's classic rock radio. And like a lot of classic rock radio, they mostly play the hits. So it's pretty boring once you've thoroughly familiarized yourself with those hits. But at least when I was a kid, every Monday night they would have like a 4-hour metal show from 9 to 1, right? And in my bedroom, my childhood bedroom, I had like a little CD. It was a radio, but it also had a CD player and it also could play cassettes, right? So like my dad had a tape of Animals by Pink Floyd that I would listen to, right? But anyway, Monday night, I'm listening to the radio. It's the metal power hour, 4-hour block, and they played For Whom the Bell Tolls, right? And I'll never forget that Cliff's fucking bass riff in the beginning, boom, 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 do 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 do. That
Yeah.
it transported me to another world. I'd never heard anything like that. Became fucking obsessed right away. And it was the same thing. Once I started listening to, those first four Metallica records, I'd think to myself, can this be a little more extreme? I listened to Peace Sells by Megadeth, the album, not just the song. And I'd
Right.
think, okay, this is more extreme, but can it go further? Then you hear Rain and Blood, and you're like, okay, this is definitely more extreme. Then you hear, Human by
That.
Death or
Yeah.
fucking None So Vile by Cryptopsy, right? And you're like, whoa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So nah, it was the same for me. And when you get into metal, right? Eventually at a certain point, your thought isn't just like you said, right? Can it be more extreme? You also start thinking, can this get weirder?
Yeah.
What else can this band do? Can it get more boundary pushing? Can it get more expansive? Can it get more mystical or mysterious or whatever? And no, that was the attraction for me, feeling like these bands are really transporting you to another world. But
Well, yeah, because
comparatively,
it makes you, like the thing with metal is one, at first, it's welcoming. You
Yep.
know, it doesn't like push anyone away. We're all fucking weirdos. Come and join us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like everyone's welcome. And then, you know, you get in there, and especially like as a musician, you can talk to, you know, if you play drums, you talk to other drummers and you find out really cool like shit about your kit that maybe you didn't know, or a new technique you didn't know. And
Yep.
people aren't trying to keep that shit inside. They're like, fuck no, dude, because I can teach you. Maybe you can teach me.
Yep. Yep.
So
I,
it's this amazing fucking community.
mhm. And over the years, it's gotten even more expansive. Like, of course, for a long time it was like a boys' club. In some sects of metal, there was a lot of racism, and there still is. But it feels like more and more you see more like there are anti-fascist black metal bands. You know, and of course, people of color have been part of metal from the very beginning. I mean, fucking Suffocation, bands like that.
Right. Yeah.
The stuff the people call it a hammer blast, but when I was getting into it, it was a suffo blast. Mike Smith, he fucking changed the game, and not just Mike
Yeah.
Smith. Um, like Pete Sandoval, right? He's Salvadorian, if I'm not
I
mistaken,
think you're
right?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so fucking Terrorizer, Morbid Angel, right there. Like he was part of the invention of Death Grind, right? He introduced the blast beat to death metal, right? Or thrash derived forms of metal. I mean, but it feels like now in more recent years, it's that much more expansive. I mean, maybe some metalheads scoff at this, right? But um there was my partner showed me a video the other day. It was from some beauty pageant or some other thing in South
Oh,
America.
where she fucking
Yeah.
sings? Yeah.
And I thought, man, like that's fucking cool. Like as someone who loves this music and especially loves the the forms of it that I guess I would consider more real, raw, more underground, to see someone showcase those techniques on such a wide, like
A
a big
large
stage,
scale. Yeah.
that's fucking cool. I want everyone to get into metal, and I want everyone to hear the good shit. I don't want to gatekeep the shit that's really good, and
Right.
I'm
Well,
not gonna.
that's exactly it. And I think, you know, I think some people like I'm a big Gojira fan. You
Fuck
know,
yeah.
like I love what they do. I love that they are their own thing. There's not another fucking Gojira out there. And when they fucking played for at the Olympics, I was just like, there is no bigger fucking scale for metal to be like, here we the fuck are.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
Exactly. And like obviously there's merit to some of the more, I guess, like palatable groups that serve as like a gateway, right?
yeah,
Your ghosts, your sleep tokens, whatever. I'm not really into that per se, because
right.
obviously my tastes run more
I'm gonna
extreme
tell
and
you, dude, I don't really care for ghost music, but their fucking live show is incredible.
I bet it is. I bet it is. If someone had tickets or whatever, or if I like, I would go see them. Absolutely. Why not?
Hell
But
yeah.
but um, you know, there's merit
Sorry, I
to
totally just made you fucking
no,
like,
no, no, no,
oh.
no, no. Yeah, there's merit to some of that, like more, I guess, mainstream stuff, even though it's not for me. But the
Right.
idea that people are getting into the real shit, the more underground shit, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Why keep that away? Why hide that shit? I would love to live in a universe where everyone knows who the fuck Panopticon is,
Oh yeah.
or people listen to shit like Infester. Like, what the fuck? That would be sick. With
But
that
it's,
being,
you know, it's part of our job to educate people also,
yep,
right?
yep,
Like you're absolutely right. Like we need those gateway drugs, you know, the more palatable like metal, or, you know, some people are going to say, no, they're not metal. Call it whatever the fuck you want.
yeah,
However heavy or light it is it's a genre of metal. It's a fucking finger, toe, whatever,
yep,
you know,
yep.
but that brings people in. And like, I'm going to tell you, like, I went to a show last night,
Okay.
and um, Do you know the band Wake? RWAKE?
No, I don't.
They're fucking great, dude.
Uh,
Fucking great.
okay.
So they're out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and they were
Oh,
playing here last night. And so my buddy threw the show, and I a couple of other bands, Lordship and
okay.
Ohm. So Lordship, I call them like caveman doom. They are.
Okay.
It's so fucking good. They are so fucking good. And Ohm is like in that post rock, post metal, like instrumental vein.
Okay.
So we had a nice mix of music. So I asked my daughter, who is she's about to turn 19. I said, "Hey, do you so what are you doing tonight?" She's, "Well, I'm hanging out with my friend." I said, "You guys want to come to the show?" She's like, "I don't know, like maybe." She's like, "How much are tickets?" I said, "Don't worry, like
Yeah.
I got you." She's like, "Hell yeah, we'll go." Lordship fucking got up there and played. And mind you, these are 18, 19-year-old girls, and Lordship fucking crushed. And they got off the stage, and the girls come up and were like, "We're going to go buy some shirts." Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Do it,
I am.
Like,
And then maybe at some point they or their friends, they'll form a metal band, or a band that even if they're not metal, they take elements from it,
yeah.
like when a couple 3 years ago, I actually played with Respire. I filled in for them on their European tour, and we played Arctangent, right? And at Arctangent, the day we played, like Godflesh played, The Armed played, This Will Destroy You, who aren't really metal, although I know some of their records get a little heavy, but they're fucking great.
Fucking, I love them,
Um,
dude.
yeah,
Love
but
them.
then Emma Ruth Rundle played, and now she played Engine of Hell, which is very folk, very stripped down, but mood wise, it totally feels of a piece with some of
Yeah.
the most extreme, like funeral doom metal. A band like
Yeah.
Worship, or a band like, I don't know, Bell Witch or whatever. Or God, there's this one old, they're not really funeral doom, they're more like a death doom band. They're from Australia. They're called Disembowelment. Do you know them?
So I know the name. I don't think I've listened to them.
They only made one full length. It's called Transcendence Through the Peripheral, which is such a fucking metal
Yeah.
album name.
Yeah.
A certain type of metal. You've got
Yeah.
your like horror movie-esque over the top title, but then you've got your like esoteric philosophical but equally over the top metal band titles. This is more, along those lines. But anyway, Emma Ruth Rundle, to me, it totally fit in with the more extreme shit. Like I could have
She
listened to
was,
her
she
and then
played Post
Godflesh
Fest this
back to
year.
back. Oh fuck, she's incredible, incredible.
Yeah.
I knew her because of the record with Thou, right? May Our Chambers Be Full, I think it's called. But I hadn't heard any of her, like, her solo material, which is the vast majority of her material. That
Right.
said, it was Engine of Hell and Full. It just blew me away. And again, to me, it made total sense with everything else going on.
But it's,
But
it's when you get into this world, there's not a lot of us. You know what I
no,
mean? There's fans, right? Like
yep.
I think at Post Fest, I was like, there's like 12 of us, so you go to a show and you fucking know everyone.
Yeah,
But
yep.
everyone there, you can enjoy the music however the fuck you want to enjoy the music. If you want to sing, people are support you. If you want to dance, they make room, like whatever you fucking want. And no one gives a flying fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone enjoys every fucking band. And even if they don't talk shit about them, you know? Like
Yeah.
they're just like, hey, cool, it's not my thing, dude, but if you dig it, I'm fucking all about it.
And I think also, though, that's because, at least for the most part with metal, if there is a barrier to entry, it's technical skill, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's very easy. Now, obviously, like local bands, that's a whole different story, right? Everyone is starting out, people are coming at it from all different places, different skill levels. But I feel like if you're a metal band, if you get to a certain point, you probably know what the fuck you're doing. Maybe it's not to everyone's taste, but there's a certain like everything is intentional, even if it's not like there's this one band on the Flenser. I think they're called Vagana, right? You know, really depressive, kind of doomy, sludgy, post influenced or post inflected metal, maybe with kind of like the atmosphere of a black metal band at times. It's not super technical like some of the older black metal, post metal stuff isn't, right?
Yeah.
But every decision is intentional. You know that they're totally in control of what they want to do, right? And it's fucking sick. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like with metal, I mean, thinking of any metal set I've seen on like a bigger scale that I didn't enjoy per se, I can only think of a handful of times where I didn't enjoy it and didn't respect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I went to see Meshuggah a couple years ago and In Flames open. And full disclosure, like melodic death metal doesn't really tend to be my thing. You know, I love Heartwork by Carcass. I dig a couple of those old like Dark Tranquility records, you know, and I like what is it, the Jester Race by In Flames, you know, like
I, listen, I'm not an In Flames fan.
okay,
Like they're
okay,
just not
good,
my thing,
good.
right?
They're not
Like
really my thing either. Even the classic shit, I would rather listen to something like Gorguts, you know,
yeah.
easily.
What a
But
fucking great show those dudes put on.
oh, I saw them play live. It was them and Carcass. It was right when Colored Sands came out.
Mm,
Fuck. It just mind boggling. And then I went to the merch and it was Luke LeMay just standing at the merch. No pretension, no
right.
ego.
Well, dude,
I
Jeff from Carcass is the same fucking way. Like they get
yep,
off stage, he goes to the fucking merch booth and he's like hanging out, chatting, taking photos, whatever. It's
yep,
just like
yep,
that this is how music should be. There shouldn't
yes,
be a fucking wall where it's like, nah, I'm the star, fuck you. I say that, but I also understand like you hit a certain level and you need that like there needs to be a barrier,
yeah. Well, I mean
because you've
that's
got to stay protected.
yeah. I mean, because yeah, unfortunately, we live in a broader culture that doesn't encourage the fostering of healthy relationships. It encourages worship and idolization, all the
Yeah.
things that you know punk and metal really are ostensibly against. You know, but what I
I'm
was
going
gonna
to
say,
tell you, sorry, like I'm just
nah,
like I'm Carcass. I've seen Carcass 6 times in the last year.
fuck, damn. I've only seen them that one time, but they were so fucking killer. And like you know, they were supporting Surgical Steel,
Yeah.
which is a great fucking record. But I think they played stuff from Heartwork. They played stuff from Necrotism, which is my favorite Carcass album. What is it? Descanting the Insalubrious.
They do really good with their sets on like putting in stuff from all over, from their fucking career.
Yeah,
And they've been around so long. Any band that's been around that long, like you have to touch on everything or try to touch on every like era of the band so everyone gets a little flavor. You know what I
totally.
mean?
And I
So
mean,
my
I don't know if when I saw them, I don't think they played any of the old like grind stuff. But for anyone who was into any of their death metal records, I think they might have
yeah,
even played something from Swan Song, you know?
yeah.
Which is cool. I like Swan Song. Like, fuck
I
yeah,
just
you
I
know?
I just like Carcass, you know what I mean? Like fucking let's do your thing, fucking
Yep,
play some music, have a great time. And I
yep.
swear to God, like Jeff's up there like "Duh," throws a pick out. He goes through like I feel like he goes through like 100 fucking
Yeah.
picks.
Oh, man. And they're, I mean, no, the show I saw them at, it was 12 years ago, right? But they were already in their mid 40s. Their
Was
energy.
that the oh, I gotta think. It's probably 11 or 12 years ago. It was Carcass, Crowbar, and Night Demon.
Holy shit. That's a sick show.
That
Fuck.
was a that was
But
so good.
what I was gonna say before too is like as opposed to metal, right? the thing that I like about punk, the thing that always attracted me about punk, right, is like in the same way that metal is so wonderful at creating these like mythologies, taking something that is human fundamentally, but turning it into something larger than life, you know? Yeah, mythical, legendary, powerful, whatever. Punk is the opposite. It's so intensely human, it's so raw, right? Which is why I
Yep.
guess ultimately like the metal bands that resonated the most with me tended to be bands like Dillinger or maybe some of the early thrash stuff where you could feel the punk rawness and the metal proficiency colliding.
Yeah.
it was metal but with less of the mythology, with less of the maybe like the barrier that kind of is erected between, or not even a barrier necessarily, but there's a persona perhaps, right?
Oh yeah, like that
And
facade fucking yep.
exactly. And that persona is part of what's so fun about metal, but maybe it comes at the expense of like a real raw intimate connection. And punk, that's where punk excels, it's all about meeting people horizontally, with no ego, ideally, with no sense of superiority, etc. And I mean, punk can foster weirdness too. There are bands like Shudder to Think who were fucking freaks,
Yeah.
um um but punk can be a little bit more regimented and restrictive, I think, than metal. For every Fugazi, for every Shudder to Think, for every No Means No or Flipper, you've got a million, Pennywises
You're
or
right.
Hatebreed.
There's a lot less like experimentation or boundary pushing in punk, which is so fucking weird to me
Yeah.
because it's punk is non-conforming.
Yep. Yep.
That
Totally. And when punk started, I do think there was more boundary pushing.
yeah,
Like even from the beginning, like when punk really started in New York, punk was just a word. Like it referred to a scene but not a sound. So you had the Ramones,
you have
Television,
Blondie.
Blondie, Patti Smith, all of them were punk, even though they don't sound anything alike.
Yeah.
You would never confuse a Television song for a Ramones song. You would never confuse either of those bands for Blondie
Or
or
Talking Heads or fucking
or
anything from that era. You know what I mean? Like you're
exactly.
yeah.
And then you've got fucking no wave, you've got post punk, you've got groups like Swans and people like Lydia Lunch or the Contortionist or fucking This Heat, weirdo shit, you know? Um and then I guess maybe a little bit more than metal, punk I think eventually became codified, you know? Um so for me, something that I take immense pleasure in is trying to combine, not that I'm doing it, my band, we're all doing it, and as
Yeah.
the drummer, you know, I guess depending on what your perspective is on the role of drums within musical composition, one might argue I'm the least responsible for this, but something that for me is exciting is trying to combine the boundary pushing and extremity of metal, not necessarily with a specific musical form in mind, but just like metal as a broad concept
The
with the
ethos like behind it, right? Like
exactly,
that's yeah.
exactly, with the politics, the um intellectual seriousness. I mean, metal is also very intellectually serious in a way. I've learned more words reading metal lyric sheets than through any medium outside of like serious literature. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that counts for something. But
Dude,
like,
it's so amazing. Like listening to metal, I'm like, what is that word?
yep, yep,
Like,
yep. Knowing that like someone like Lord Worm has I think a PhD in English literature or whatever. Like that shit is only shit you get in metal. But there's a political orientation to punk, and within Screamo, a sort of philosophical orientation, an
yeah.
intimacy, a rawness that I love. So to combine that with the more extreme weirdo elements of metal is very exciting, even if it also sometimes leaves you without a home, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but the more you dig into metal and dig into bands, because there are so many genres and subgenres and subgenres and fucking whatever, people ask like, "Hey, what's this band?" I don't know how to explain it to you. All I know is that they are fucking great if you
Yep.
like heavy riffs or fast riffs and blast beats or whatever the descriptor is for that band. Like, check them out. I actually had a conversation with someone Friday night. Are
Okay.
you familiar with Today Is the Day?
Dude, dude, for pretty much all of us in Massa Nera, In the Eyes of God is collectively one of our favorite heavy records. But I mean, for me, everything, and I only say this because I haven't really checked out the newer shit. And by newer, I mean like everything from Kiss the Pig onward, you know?
Dude,
But
I'll tell you, this fucking new album is phenomenal.
well, for me, I mean that I need to jam it. I need to fucking
Yeah.
jam Kiss the Pig and Axis of Eden, you know, and Pain is a Warning. But like everything from oh fuck yeah. What's what's the first record? Supernova, right?
Yeah.
Supernova, yeah. Those first six records, Supernova, Willpower, the self-titled, Temple of the Morning Star, especially In the Eyes of God, and the crazy double one, Sadness Will Prevail. Those records, that run of records is just perfect and bizarre. And like no one sounds like that. Even to this
No.
day, all of the bands that have taken influence from them, no one sounds the way they do.
No, and
And
they
they're
never will.
incredible.
Like, and that is like no one will ever sound like Converge.
Yep.
Like it's so fucking hard to first, it's hard to do something unique in music because there's so many bands. And when you have a band like Today Is the Day, Steve, I fucking love you, dude. Just um, like it when you find it, you latch onto it. And the show that they create, hopefully you guys out there also latch onto it. But that is how I am. I find something and I'm like, holy fuck, I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that it's challenging. That's what I want. I want the fucking listener, to an extent, right? I want the listener to be challenged. I want them to be comfortable in that fucking challenge.
Yep.
Sometimes there are bands out there where you're like, man, this is challenging, and I'm not really fucking comfortable in my skin doing this.
Yeah.
But so I gotta go back. So we're at Today's Day was playing Friday, and so we're at the show, and this girl, a woman, a female, was like, we got into a conversation about music. There's a group of us, and she's like, no one will ever be able to make something as unique as what like uh her example was Mastodon. No one will
Okay.
ever be able to make something as unique as Mastodon.
Okay.
I said, my thought is, hi, sorry. She's like, hey,
Oh.
um, I'm like, no one will ever be Mastodon, right? Like they are their own thing. I said, but
Totally.
there are bands always making super unique music. She said, name one. The first one that comes to mind, this one will challenge you. It's I said, are you into like free jazz and that kind of shit? And she's like, well, yeah. I said, awesome. There's a metal band called Abhorrent Expanse,
Whoa.
and they everything they do is it's a free jazz. It's like a free jazz metal.
Okay.
So you listen to the album, and the album is the same, but you see them live, and every show is different because maybe they're feeling a little different. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's fucking cool. Shit,
Yeah.
what's this band called?
Abhorrent Expanse.
Hang on. I'm just gonna make sure in my I'm still here. I'm just writing this down.
Yeah,
Abhorrent
you're good.
Expanse. Okay. I I haven't listened to them, but I really love like this one group from the 80s, Last Exit. Uh Similar, it was all jazz cats, like Sonny Chirac. I think he's on Miles Davis's Jack Johnson record. He might be on Bitches Brew, but he's definitely on Jack Johnson. Um, it's Sonny Chirac and three other people who are equally important. I just don't remember their names.
Yeah.
The saxophonist is like a legendary, I think he died this year. Uh, he was a legendary German free jazz saxophonist. He has a record, I think it's called Machine Gun. I think it's like the first European free jazz record. This is after people like Ornette Coleman and
Right.
Coltrane and Albert Eiler were doing that stuff in the States, right? So it's the two of them and then, a drummer and a bassist. And this shit is insane. And I could only imagine what people in like 1984 were thinking when
Oh
they
yeah.
heard it, like unhinged and kind of evil. Like really, the saxophone player, he actually did a really great record with Oxbow, like a live record. I know Oxbow are unfortunately no longer, and I think,
Yeah.
well, maybe fortunately, because it seems like they broke up for good reasons. But they were an amazing group, and yeah, this saxophonist has a record with them. So that's just to
Right
say,
on.
I'm into this sort of shit, and like flying Ludenbachers, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Abhorrent Expanse. I'm gonna have to check this out.
I'm into some weird shit too, so it's fucking it's God, it's really cool. I got a buddy. We actually have a label, and we put out a bunch of shit, but I send him music probably daily. I'm like, dude, check this out. This is fucking weird. And he's like, all right, like let's get fucking weird with it. Hell yeah.
Okay. Fuck, that's cool. There's this one grind band that I really, oh man, this looks crazy. This artwork.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm just, oh, and they're from Chicago. Oh,
Yes.
okay. There's this one grind band that I used to really love. I still love them. I don't listen to them as much anymore, but they were called Asterisk. Do you know that group?
I don't.
Uh like late 90s, turn of the century. Um the only group I could really kind of compare them to is Discordance Axis, but
Okay.
they don't really, in the sense that, Discordance Axis kind of has a, they were, because they don't have a bassist, their guitarist is playing a lot of like higher stuff on the neck, a lot of John Chang screams, especially on Inalienable Dreamless. It's a little shriller.
Hmm.
So this band is kind of shrill like that, but way more bizarre, fucking freaky, just weird, and it's grind only because I don't really know what else to call it. But it seems like the sort of thing you dig, or at least you would appreciate.
I'll check it out. Like I did. I'm like, yep. Just fucking. I will listen to anything at least once.
Mm-hmm.
We actually so back, God, probably 25 years ago, there was a dude on Howard Stern. What's it?
Yeah, that
Kenneth or something?
I know that the
Uh,
dude who was the drummer. I've never listened to Howard Stern, but I know that the guy who drummed on the last Death record was part of his show. Richard
hmm,
Christie.
yep. Yeah, actually, I just chatted with Gene Hoglan 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Fuck. Oh my God.
Yeah, that dude is such a beast. What a
Dude,
fucking monster.
his playing, I mean, like those strapping young lad records, uh, the shit that he did on those Testament records, all amazing.
Dude,
But for me, his drumming on individual thought patterns and symbolic,
oh
because
yeah.
it's extreme and it's quick, but he's really fucking letting loose a little bit
He
more.
has that technical ability, dude, that
Yeah,
like he's
yeah,
he's a fucking monster.
yeah. And there's just but there's a lightness of touch too,
Yeah.
a finesse that he shows on those records that maybe he doesn't get the chance to do on those strapping records. Incredible. And you know what? I actually, for the first time ever, despite having it on my computer, sorry, I'm sidetracking this, but
You're all good.
I've had these records on my computer for years, thanks to blogs and whatnot, and just downloading everything I could find. But I finally, a few months ago, listened to his old thrash band, Dark Angel, right?
Oh, they just put a new album out.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
The
I
30,
was
30 first album in like 34 years.
well, I was listening to the last one, or I guess it was the last one, A Time Does Not Heal.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. And he apparently wrote a lot of the riffs on that record
I
too.
was gonna say that, dude. Like he did when I talked to him, I was like, hey, on this album, what did you write? He said, I probably wrote 90% of the album.
That's crazy. It's like
I'm like,
Charlie Benante from Anthrax. He
yeah,
writes a lot of the riffs
Anthrax.
too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fucking
That's like
awesome.
it's so mind-boggling. Like when who was I was talking with someone I was talking with Daniel DK who is he plays with Midnight. He's one of the Violators and he plays in some other shit too. But I was chatting with him and he said he was like I didn't know that Hoglan like played fucking guitar and he doesn't just play guitar, like he is good.
Yep.
I'm like, really? He's like, oh yeah, dude, the Dark Angel shit, he wrote it. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. That's crazy. And that because that shit's it's technical, it's progressive,
Yeah.
it's constantly changing. I mean, it's like there are what, like 200 riffs on that fucking record. It's nuts. Um, but you were mentioning someone named Kenny or someone on Howard
Oh
Stern.
yeah, the dude from fucking Howard Stern, um, Kenny Kenneth, and I think that was his name. I don't remember. I'm sure someone is gonna be like, no, that's fucking wrong. It was this. He sent me he sent me an album. My again, this is 20 or 25 years ago. He's looking for a record deal, and he's like sends it to me. I don't know why he sent it to me. Like I it was me and I was helping like two other bands just like put out CDs or whatever. But so he sends it to me and I'm sorry, dude, but it was terrible. Like I don't like being that person, but dude, it was so bad
Okay.
that anytime we had a party, we would put it on just to see if people would notice. And it wouldn't get to the second song. And everyone in the whatever room it was on in would be like, turn this fucking shit off.
Jesus. Okay.
It
Okay.
was like, I gotta think. I'm trying to think, dude. There was like a song. He's like, I wrote this about my cat. It was like, Kitty, I fucking hate you or something. Oh, dude,
Oh,
it was so weird
yeah, that's
and terrible.
yeah, it's
God, it
interesting.
was terrible.
God. Well, I'm like morbidly curious, but maybe I don't know if I need to indulge that curiosity. And
No, you
us and
don't.
us in Massa Nera, we are connoisseurs of bad music, you know? Uh like we'll be with the band on tour or whatever, and I feel like or when we were in Europe, our driver, Tommy, I
Mhm.
feel like 60% of the music that we showed him was fucking awful. Just hideously bad, but we take an almost like psychological interest in it, you know? So yeah, I'm like morbidly curious because I can add it to my ever expanding list of dreck that I've
Oh
come
yeah,
to.
yeah. I wish I actually had kept the CD for years, dude, and my house burned down and it burned up in my house.
Holy
And I was
shit.
like, oh yeah, whatever. Shit
Okay.
happens.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy. Fuck.
Yeah. I was like, damn, I wish like I still to this day I'm like, I wish I had that CD to fucking play for people because I kind of the psychological thing. I want to know what they think about it.
Yeah,
And is it really as bad as I remember it, or was I just being like super judgy?
maybe, yeah, that's, I don't know. Damn, that's wow, it's lost to time. Presumably.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else has a copy.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, dude, if he sent one to me, I'm sure he sent it to a lot of fucking people.
Hey, well, if any of those people are listening to whenever this episode comes out, hopefully they send it your way.
Yeah. So, let me know. Fucking send us a copy of that shit. I want to know. Even if you got it on Google Drive or fucking Dropbox or whatever, I need that again. That'd
Fuck.
be so great. Okay, Mark. Dude, I've had a lot of fun just fucking chatting with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really talked about the Massa Nera record at all, but we've talked about fucking metal, and that's
That's not true. We did talk about Massa Nera, fucking just
yeah,
kind of in
yeah.
with all the rest of them.
Yeah, no, no, no. We definitely did. Hey, it's me. You'd think I would be bringing the conversation back to my own band, but nah. Metal,
It should be
metal
me. That's my job. Keep that shit on track. Like I'm like, I don't know. I'm just having fun. That's all I want to do is
fuck
chat.
no. I. There's nothing better than talking about music, and as you said before, metal in particular is such a tight knit community. It's such a legion of weirdos that I don't know. Like whenever I meet someone and I see that they're wearing like the other day in the city that I live in, I was driving around and I was looking for parking and I saw someone wearing a fucking Gorgut shirt. And I had a car behind me, so I kept driving and I circled back around and they were gone. And I'm fucking pissed. Cause like, that's another member of the fucking tribe, you know?
Yeah.
And especially Gorguts. They're my favorite death metal band, you know?
Oh, that's
And
cool. Yeah.
favorite. Like uh everything they did, but Obscura, From Wisdom to Hate, Colored Sands, the EP, which I'm not gonna try to pronounce because I'm gonna mispronounce it. Like, fuck, fuck. That shit is unreal. Actually, bringing Massa Nera into it for a second, on the second song, um, Pellerin,
Hmm.
there's a riff. It's like boom, 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 boom. That was our like low grade attempt at a Gorguts riff, or at least that's what we were calling it.
Hell yeah.
So Gorguts all the way, and but like whenever, but that's just to say, just seeing someone in passing wearing a metal shirt is enough to make you want to stop and go, yo, fuck yeah, what's up? And talk to them because it's
Yep.
so tight knit, it's so special, it's so personal, you know?
Some of my when my wife and I got married like 10 years ago, we were I always wear a band shirt. I have for fucking years. So
Yep.
we were where the fuck were we? We were in Detroit and I had a Battle Cross shirt on.
Okay.
So they're a Detroit band that does like thrash. They call themselves Collar Thrash. I fucking love them. They're so great.
Fuck yeah.
So we're flying through Detroit on our way to our honeymoon, and I'm fucking walking through the airport. I'm hungover to all hell because we partied the night before, and I probably got stopped by like three or four people. Like, fuck yeah, dude! I'm just like, all right, I like this, but it's those like interactions uh, that we look for to let us know like we're not. To me, it's like I'm not alone in the fucking world.
Yep.
When I was a, I feel like when I was a kid, being a metalhead, a lot of my friends weren't into metal. It was, they listened to whatever was popular, the fucking
Mhm.
hip hop on the radio or whatever was going on. So now I fucking seek it out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
Similarly, dude, no, it was the same for me. Like, and as someone who has a really like expansive taste, metal, punk, experimental, jazz, whatever, I felt that way about everything that I liked. Like, whatever I liked, no matter what it was, the people around me in my town were not into it. And I felt
right.
like a fucking freak. So, you know, meeting other people, and especially with metal, because that's where the sense of camaraderie I think is the strongest.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's an instant connection, and it's really validating. Like you feel like I'm not even going to say it's that you feel like you're not a freak. You feel like you are a freak and you're understood by other freaks, which is
Yeah.
better than feeling like you aren't a freak. Like, no, fuck yeah. Like I am a freak. I want to be a freak because that's who I am, but I'm not alone, like you said. It's just speaking of hip hop though, last thing, I don't know if you need to go, but do you know because we're talking about metal, and I feel like anyone who's a metalhead would dig this group. Do you know the group Dialect?
I do. They're on
It,
Ipecac.
yes, yes, yep. Spelt Dalek, like the thing from
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
It's
So
like
I understand.
Dalek, I think, or
Yep,
something like that.
Dalek, but with the umlaut, apparently it's pronounced dialect, like dialect. Uh, Dude, fuck yeah, they are. I've been pretty much all I've been listening to the past few weeks has been Bjork and them and Dialect. That shit is. Speaking of Ipecac, by the way, Bjork has a record, Medulla. It's an a cappella record, and Mike Patton's on a bunch of the songs as one of the
Oh, right
voices.
on.
Yeah, but Dialect, dude. Anyone who's open, who's interested in hip hop, but maybe wishes that it were more sonically extreme, more noisy, that's the fucking shit. And they're from Jersey, like Massa Nera. So
Oh, hell yeah.
Jerseyites, Jerseyans, fucking represent.
Yeah. Gotta support the armpit of America.
That's yo. You know what? Perhaps, but because it's the armpit of America or whatever, there is a rich musical history to Jersey.
They're
That
absolutely.
this is, you know what? Actually, I've got an anecdote for you talking about the like the unbreakable bond of metal, right? I used to work at an intensive outpatient facility in New Jersey, right? Like most of the work that I've done has been in mental health, and at this job, I was just driving people, right? I was finishing grad school at the time, and I wanted a job that was not overly intellectually stimulating, which was a mistake. I should have taken a job that was stimulating because I was fucking bored, um, which is way worse. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, typically when I was driving, I would just play jazz because I love jazz, but also because I felt like jazz was pretty neutral, you know? I mean, obviously as we were talking about before, jazz does not have to be neutral, but this
Right.
was a radio station that mostly plays like classic shit.
Light jazz. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or like Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis. They'll play John Coltrane, but they're not going to play any of his like free jazz stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So I pick up one of the clients. I'd known him for a few weeks, but I didn't really know him. I just picked him up and dropped him back off. And obviously he attended IOP, I think 3 times a week. So he'd heard me listen to a lot of jazz at that point. And he made a comment like, oh yeah, you like jazz, right? And now again, I listen to everything like Latin music, music concrete, art pop, uh, blues, folk music, whatever, right? Like if to me, if it's good, if it's interesting, I don't care. And
Right.
especially as someone who makes heavy music, when I'm making music, which is almost all the time, I try not to listen to anything even remotely similar because I don't want to unconsciously steal from anyone. I'm gonna do that anyway, but I don't want to like I want it to be as unlikely as possible. So I'm really always looking for shit that sounds nothing like what I tend to make. But still, even if metal sometimes comprises like 1% of my listening habits, if someone asks me what I dig, I'm going to lead with the extreme shit because that's
Yeah.
the what's closest to my heart. So I told this guy, I was like, well, yeah, I like jazz, but on my own time, I typically listen to like more intense shit. And he goes, "Oh, do you know the like that's cool. Do you know the band Human Remains?" And I was like, "Human Remains?" Like, I thought he would if I would expect like, "Ah, do you listen to, Slayer? Do you listen to Maiden?
Right.
Human Remains. What the fuck? Not even like Pig Destroyer or Napalm Death.
Right.
Human fucking Remains. And I was like, yeah, actually, I fucking love Human Remains. What the fuck? This dude was part of this whole scene, back in Jersey. He was friends with all the folks in like Ripping Corpse, and like all those old school Jersey bands. And like, I don't know. That was such a fucking, I'm never
That's a
gonna
cool
forget that.
fucking connection, dude.
Yep, yep. And from that point on, just knowing that, I felt instantly 10 times closer to him, you
Yeah.
know, be just because he knew these weirdo bands that I'd never heard anyone outside of my small circle of friends mention, you know?
Yep.
So like, yeah, metal is universal, metal is transcendent, and I don't know. It's just it's one of the most special things in the world. So I'm really fucking happy we were able to just talk about metal.
Hell yeah. God, dude, I'm with you. I just love talking music, like, because I feel like one, if I invite you to a show, I like you. I want to know if if you understand what I'm getting into, right? Like,
Yep.
if we can connect at a show and you're cool with it, we're probably going to be best friends. Like, that's fucking cool. Uh, it's that connection. I want everyone to feel that fucking connection. All right, Mark. Yes, I do have to run.
Okay.
So I appreciate you. I want to do this again because I've had such a fucking good time just sitting here bullshitting.
Honestly, me too. I'd be fucking more than happy to do it.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll we'll connect off of here and we'll figure out another time where we can fucking get back into this.
Fuck yeah. Please do. That would be really cool.
Hell yeah. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate your time so fucking much.
Thank you. Like I said, this was a lovely surprise, and I'm really happy it worked out.
Hell yeah. Well, man, go have a great night and I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. You too.
All right. See ya.